Hi, welcome back to Mike's World. Mike's World? It's Mike's Diabetes World. Today, I just wanted to kind of take a poll, but you really don't have to answer if you don't want to. But have you ever sort of woken up and I'm too tired. I'll sleep in a bit longer. And you sleep in a bit longer. You wake up, you do your blood test, and oh my God, you're high. Well, chances are, your hormones are starting to kick in. I was told around 4 a.m. is when everything starts kicking in. Things are getting ready for you to get up and get going. But if you don't get up and get going, things just go downhill. You end up, I don't have time, I'll grab something at work. Or you don't do your blood test. Or we've done a video on this, you don't do your insulin. For God's sake, take your insulin and eat. Now, so many people say, now that I'm on the pump, I don't have to worry about breakfast. Well, you may not have to for your sugar because your pump's going to take care of it. But you're going to have to because your body needs the fuel. Hey, it's called breakfast. It breaks the fast. But what really annoyed me, and I can remember in high school, I didn't want to eat. It's dinner time. I didn't want to eat. Because going to dinner would be a whole production. You have to do a urine test. You've got to figure out what you can have to eat. And it really became, such a pain. But, everyone should get up, should have something to eat. Now, the problem with grabbing something on the way, it's high sugar, high salt, high fat. Prepare stuff the night before. People sit there and prepare lunch. But worst of all, a lot of people miss meals altogether. I'm trying to watch my weight. I'm going to miss breakfast and lunch. Well, if you're on shots 4 times a day or 3 times a day, you're going to need to eat because the insulin is in your body already looking to work. And when it can't work, the sugar you provide, you're going to go downhill fast. Now, when you're sick and you don't feel like eating, well, at that time your blood sugar will increase. But when you're not sick and you decide not to eat and you take your insulin, your blood sugar is going to drop. And nothing's worse than, she goes again, you doing your blood sugar and finding out that you're low and you have to fight to get it back, or you're high and you have to bring it down. It happened the other day to me. I was high. For some reason, when I put the sensor in, I don't know if I missed my morning breakfast or whatever. Not miss it, but miss doing my testing or whatever, insulin. But I went high. It was up to like 23. And I took insulin and it slowly came down, Now, usually with me, it'll go really quickly. Now, just to prove a point, and it does, but it doesn't. I had breakfast while I was in the hospital, dinner. I had dinner. I had all my insulin. My blood sugar was at 6. So awesome. My friends came over. We went down to have they were going to have a coffee. I was going to have a Coke Zero or Diet Coke or some diet drink. And all of a sudden, they panicked because I wasn't responding. I was sitting there, and they had to get me to a push chair, or it was really, it's not a wheelchair, but a push chair, and get me back up to the ward. And while I was holding on to the rails being, the part that up against the wall and you kind of hold on to. So I kept holding on to those, and it took like 3, what I call the WD-40, but they're dextrose tubes. They're big, like they're a big syringe, and it took 3 of them and to bring me around. And once I was around, I sat there, and I remember looking across at my roommate, or we were in a 4-bed, and she's sitting there, and then all of a sudden she rings for the nurse again, and I'm again sweating. That night it took a really hard time for me to get up. So why put your body into that mode? You want to make sure that your body, that you are ready to fight. And I don't mean fight, but I mean your body has to put up with a hell of a lot. Don't add to it. So often, people say, well, fast for your procedure, and you say, oh, I'm a diabetic. Well, you're on the pump. Well, that works great. Just an aside here about the pump. When you go, if you ever have a severe low blood sugar and you go into emergency, they will say, oh, disconnect your pump. Oh, it'll be fine. You won't go into DKA just for a few minutes of being off the pump. Well, it's not a few minutes. It could be hours. And what they're thinking about is someone who takes shots and they have a background insulin there. The insulin pump users don't have that backup. Sorry, I thought I heard something here. Now, we're all different levels of our diabetes. I'm brittle, which means I have to take or try to get tighter control. If you start with tight control right from day one and stick to it, That's the one big pet peeve of my own that I wish I had followed. And that is, I wish I would have followed my diabetes closer. Because a lot of the time I spent later on in life was, oh yeah, I have diabetes, but that's fine. It was sort of background in my mind where it should be in second or third maybe. And you need to get out, you need to exercise, you should be walking as much as you can, go upstairs as much as you can, get some exercise, watch what you eat. Now, the worst thing I ever did working was I worked in a convenience store. And at that time there was free pop for if you worked there, the fountain drinks. And oh well, yeah. Lord knows what my blood sugar really was when I left there. Because at that time I wasn't following any guidelines. And right now, I think I kind of wish I did. But life gets in the way of so much. You've got to make sure you put your diabetes first. Make sure it's the first thing you see in the morning. Get up, do your blood test before you race off to the shower. Have your breakfast. Make a sandwich for breakfast. I don't know, have peanut butter toast. Make sure you're eating, having your insulin, getting your exercise. And I wish I had been more proactive. Now, back in the day, as parents, they always knew best. They always tried to tell you things. And what? Did we listen? Hell no. And I didn't really listen about my diabetes. So often they said, oh, I think you're ready for this, educators or whatever. And I wish I kind of said, no, I'm not too comfortable with things yet. Now I know an example of this is I got a brand new pump. This was a few years ago. I took it home and it started doing weird and wonderful things. But, you have to play around with it. The only way you're really going to understand your body and insulin, your body and food, your body and exercise is to get out and do it each and every day. Now, I hope this helps. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye now.
This is